House, in 2011, Congress passed a law calling for a $1 trillion budget cut, which meant across-the-board cuts in all budget categories starting in 2013. Cuts began on March 1st, 2013, and still exist today. These cuts became known as the sequester.
According to the Department of Defense, each branch of the military has felt the effects of the sequester in negative ways. For example, General David L. Goldfein, the Air Force Service's Vice Chief of Staff, stated that the current Air Force is one of the smallest, oldest, and least ready in its history. In this statement, he refers to both personnel and technological advancements. These cuts impacted the military heavily. Therefore, both candidates have strong opinions and have spoken specifically about the sequester as a result.
Presidential candidate Trump's position, according to his speech on September 7th, proposes to fully eliminate the defense sequester and cement a new budget to rebuild our military. He'll need to work with Congress to build this budget. It hasn't been stated how he would go about asking Congress for this yet.
On defense. As soon as I take office, I will ask Congress to fully eliminate the defense sequester and will submit a new budget to rebuild our military. It is so depleted. We will rebuild our military.
Trump says, to pay for the budget, we must cut expired law funding like the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Congress spent $320 billion last year on 256 expired laws. A 5% reduction on those initiatives will save $200 billion over 10 years. In order to pay for the new budget, Trump believes that we can stop funding programs that are not authorized in law. These programs include the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the State Department, just to name a few. Congress spent $320 billion last year on 256 expired laws. Removing just 5% of that will reduce spending by almost $200 billion over a 10-year period.
Presidential candidate Clinton's position is similar to opponent presidential candidate Trump.
And here's what we have to do. We can't lose our military edge. That means giving the Pentagon the stable, predictable funding it needs to make smart investments. You've heard.
HillaryClinton.org states that she proposes ending the sequester for both defense and non-defense spending in a balanced way. However, she has not stated how she would do this. In order to remake the defense budget, Clinton wants to tax everyone based on their yearly salary.
Both candidates' policies will impact Dayton, Ohio.
Meanwhile, candidate Clinton's plan will end the sequester by increasing taxes primarily on high-income taxpayers and businesses by $1.2 trillion. This means any households earning more than the benchmark income at $250,000 will have an increase in taxes during Clinton's administration. In Montgomery County, where a portion of Wright-Patterson is located, less than 1% of households will be affected. However, in Greene County, where a majority of Wright-Patterson is located, about 5% of households make $200,000 or more. It can be predicted that the new defense budget will be used to modernize the military, which means that Wright-Patterson Air Force Base will be impacted by this change. However, the specifics of how the military will be modernized was not stated.